Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We've got a very exciting guest for you guys. For those of you just joining the podcast, we're E.N.G Media, and we specialize in helping software and technology companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your software or tech business to the next level, make sure to stick around. But without further ado, Nias, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I'm really excited just really to dive into your journey, and then also all the awesome work that you're doing at Piramidz and really with everything else.
Yeah, thank you, Tyson. It's a pleasure for me to join this podcast. My name is Nias Putheveettil. Now I'm the founder and CEO of Piramidz,
Yeah.
a boutique consulting firm. I started, and now I'm growing with that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you giving everybody a background. And for those of you who may not have connected with Niaz up to this point, I know that you have several years of experience as a CTO. Advisory as well is something that you specialize in, specifically really with AI and data science. You're a visionary product and technology leader within the space. And then you really specialize as well in digital healthcare and healthcare technology as well. So you know, maybe it's best for us to start by you kind of just giving us an idea of what your background looked like all the way really up until this point and really what led you to start Pyramids.
Yeah, so I started my career after my computer science and engineering bachelor's with Siemens,
Nice.
the German engineering company, and I worked on CT scanners first, software for CT scanners.
Oh, wow.
That gave me a great background in engineering and German precision. I developed software for CT scanners in India and in Germany,
Wow.
and then I moved to the US to Chicago to develop angiography, cardiology, and neurology imaging systems.
Wow.
That gave me a very different perspective on things. Working in the US, working for a big company, working for healthcare, developing software, then got into more kind of the architectural role. Initially, I was software engineer, did a
Nice.
lot of software architecture for imaging systems, then moved into clinical applications. Then I did my MS and MBA. I did MBA from Kellogg School of Management.
Oh, wow.
Then I moved into the headquarters, Siemens headquarters for healthcare in Malvern, Pennsylvania. It's a Philadelphia
Mm.
suburbs. There I did electronic medical records for hospitals and hospital information systems.
Awesome.
Then I moved into Cerner. Now it's called Oracle Cerner,
Oh,
a big EMR company where we did EMR, revenue cycle management, and a lot of interoperability.
mhm.
Then I switched my career from being in public companies to private equity by
Nice.
going into a Johnson and Johnson carve out, LifeScan, did uh, software. I was heading their product and technology for a while,
Wow.
where we developed remote patient monitoring systems, integrating not just the diabetes information but also blood pressure, blood glucose, heart rate monitoring, Fitbit information, fitness information.
Nice.
That's great experience. Then I got a chance to switch my field from healthcare to
Mhm.
learning management systems for some time because one of my previous bosses joined Francisco Partners at the time,
Oh, wow.
and he was carving out a company from SAP. I got a chance to go and work with him for a while to carve out and using AI and getting that business into the right path. Then
Nice.
moved on to become the CTO of Azra AI, where we did cancer detection from radiology reports as well as pathology reports.
Oh, wow.
Um, So now I've moved into my own consulting firm,
Yeah.
Pyramids. So I've started that, and a lot of good things in the pipeline. Very excited about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing a little bit more about your background. It's really interesting to hear about the software engineering work that you've done in Germany, in India, and now into the United States as well, out in Pennsylvania. And really what it looks like with what you're doing at Pyramids is that you're doing really business consulting, for startups, private equity, and venture capitalists really funded companies, as well. And are these companies and potential, capital firms like, is that specifically in the healthcare space and in like the learning system space, or is that kind of encompass a multitude of different industries, would you say?
So right now I'm mostly focusing on the healthcare.
Nice.
So initially, when I started, I was just focusing private equity, venture capital backed startups. But most of the business I'm getting is through my contacts, my
Nice.
former colleagues or former bosses. And some of my former colleagues have moved into big companies, so I'm also getting calls from some of these big companies
Oh, wow.
for me to go in and evaluate their AI landscape and provide a strategy as well as technology roadmap.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing right now is you know going into these companies, sometimes big as big as $8 billion companies
Oh, wow.
to smaller startups, going into their company or divisions to assess their AI capabilities,
Mhm.
uh, come up with a strategy. Mainly, even before that, working with the C-suite to come up with the vision, more kind of co-create the vision with the
Mhm.
C-suite, uh, putting together the strategy for the company, putting together the roadmap for technology,
Wow.
making sure that they have the right architecture. Then I have a lot of partners who I
Mhm.
trust. So I have worked, with so many vendors and partners in all my jobs. So I have vetted them carefully, and I'm bringing the best ones to
Mhm.
execute the projects for my clients, so that
Nice.
they get the best right from the vision to
Yeah.
execution, hand holding, the rollout, as well as hypercare after rollout.
Oh, wow. That's super interesting. I appreciate you sharing some insight into your process, because now it makes a little bit more sense of how you're going in there and you're really helping these companies. And you did mention that you are getting the opportunity to work with, large, I guess, billion-dollar companies. I'm always curious to know, like, what are maybe some, when a company like that, they come to you, Nias, maybe they need help with their overall AI strategy. What are some misconceptions maybe that they have around AI or around implementing really technology in their organization that you kind of come in and you help guide them and really fix?
I think the misconception about AI is more about safety and
Mhm.
transparency, right?
Uh-huh.
Everybody wants to do AI, but they are very skeptical about if it's a black box, how do you explain uh, what AI is doing,
Right.
and is it ethical? Is it going to create more problems within the organization? Not the technology issues, the
Mhm.
people issues, and alignment issues. So more worried about that. They're very uh, concerned about rolling out AI,
Uh-huh.
but you need to. I think these are for right reasons, right? When a big company is doing something like that, they need to make sure that they do it the right way,
Yeah.
with the right transparency, with all the ethics considered.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And I think everybody is kind of seeing the concern for security, with the way AI interacts with different organizations' data and really, everything like that as well. And, for maybe that was, an example of, a larger, let's just say like a company worth over $1 billion, but for like the startups that might come to you for help with their overall technology and AI strategy, what are some things that they bring to you, and really how do you guys help, bring an impact and solve them, really?
Yeah, it's very different when you're working for a billion-dollar company versus a startup, right?
Sure.
So startups, it's obviously less people. They want to get a lot of things done very fast. So scaling is very important for startups. So how can you get things done with less people
Mm,
fast, right? In many cases, it's not just bringing in people or bringing hiring people. It's
mhm,
more kind of even startups partnering with the right partners. For example, you mentioned security and privacy.
mhm,
Security and privacy, you can just go big on that. You can hire a CISO and bring in a security team and things like that. But that's not affordable for a lot of
right.
startups. So what I did, and I preach that to other startups also, to partner with the experts in those areas,
Yeah,
and you only pay for what they are doing, right? You don't have to keep everybody on your bench. So
yeah,
for example, for our HIPAA, for SOC 2, for high trust certification, all these things are very important when you're going to the hospitals to implement systems, because they
mhm,
every security assessment, they ask these questions, they interview us on these things. So I partnered with a company who can provide that, right,
uh-huh,
on Google platform or AWS platform. Even you're using the AWS or Google platform, they have their own security. But on top of that, if you partner with the right companies to take care of your HIPAA, SOC 2, high trust, and all these things,
uh-huh,
and compliance, then you are in safe hands.
yeah,
And that does not mean that you cannot set up your own security wing. You can, when it's
yeah,
the right time, right?
100%.
When you have the money and time to set up your own security division, you can do that with your CISO and all the positions under that.
100%. I appreciate you breaking that down for both myself and the audience as well. I think I have a better understanding of, like, you it seems like you help these organizations really establish their strategy before they invest really a lot of money. In our example, it was, security around their AI and around their technology. I think once they understand really where they're going and what the roadmap looks like, then they can invest into it more confidently, really, as well. And from what it sounds like to me, when companies come to you and, maybe they seek out Pyramids and they need some help, some consulting, some advisory, it really sounds like the way that you're setting yourself apart from maybe, similar consulting companies is really through the strategic relationships that you've established throughout your time in the technology space. Really, would you say that that's your main amplifier or your main differentiator, really? Or do you guys come in, or would you say that it's more along the lines of, like, your approach?
Yeah, I would say my network is my net worth,
Nice, I love that.
because if I break it down, my former colleagues are my customers now,
Oh,
right?
wow.
My former bosses are my advisors,
Oh, wow.
and the people who worked under me are kind of consulting for me now,
Nice.
and vendors who work for me are my partners in execution.
Awesome.
So that is a clear way of doing it, because nobody will trust you as a company, but people will trust you as a person
Yeah.
because you have delivered this in the past. So I'm using my own brand now to
Mhm.
build a brand for my company.
Nice.
So that's what it is, right? No,
Yeah,
so using all those connections to do the right thing for your
yeah.
client, and right from the vision to execution to hand holding and even maintenance.
Awesome, awesome, and I love that. Your network really is your net worth, and that's a perfect example of how you're embodying that. And I think it's really important to understand that kind of early on, especially in my experience, people have bought into me as a person, not necessarily my company. There's so many other people out there that are doing what you're doing, kind of no matter what you do, really, outside of a few things. but early on, like, people usually buy into you and the reputation that you've built for yourself. So it's interesting to see that you're leveraging your personal brand to really help build the brand of your business. And I know one initiative that you have coming up here soon, and I'm excited to tell the audience about, is that, really that you're gonna be writing a book on leadership that should be coming out here in the next few months, if not really, the year. Can you kind of maybe give us an early insight into maybe some details of what you're gonna include in the book and kind of what it's gonna be about without sharing too much of the secret sauce?
Yeah, so it's a memoir. It's a memoir, but
Nice.
it's a memoir on leadership, right? I didn't write started as a book. I started writing as a letter to my kids,
Oh, wow.
and that along the lines, I thought that okay, this might help other people also. So I'm making it a book now. It's a memoir on where I was born, where I grew up, and what kind of education I had,
Yeah,
and some struggles, some failures, and how
yeah,
I could overcome the failures. So, and it's more about teaching my kids on leadership, but
yeah.
along the way, maybe others could learn as well.
Yeah, I love that. I think that us as people are just so much more alike than we really are different, and it's important for people like me who are fairly new to business, maybe in their first couple of years, to see, people such as yourself. Like, from the outside, we could tell that there's success, but I'm sure it hasn't been without you fighting for really your position, and you've had an interesting journey up to this point. I mean, through your work at Siemens, working in a multitude of different companies, and so I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that book, and maybe we can include, a link to your guys' social media, so that way, for those who watch the podcast and are in our audience, and might come across this, they can be aware of it as well. So,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
absolutely. And really, my next question for you related to, the business side of things, like, would you say that you have any goals specifically with Pyramids in the next 12 months? Like, are you maybe looking to expand into different kinds of industries, looking to roll out any new initiatives, or is there anything on the horizon there?
So my experience has been in healthcare, and a lot of my contacts are also in healthcare. So a lot of the initial clients coming to me are mostly healthcare, but
Mm,
I also have an experience. I mentioned that I ventured into learning management systems, so
right.
I'm getting some clients from learning management systems also. And when I don't have expertise, like for example, finance or
Mhm.
fintech, I didn't work in that area. So I'm partnering with some of my, previous, ex colleagues who have
Nice.
experience in that area, and bringing them on board as advisors to get into those areas also. So I don't want to limit myself as a
Yeah.
healthcare expert. I
Mhm.
want to broaden, but I'm starting in the healthcare and technology. But technology is technology, and it can be applicable in other industries and other domains as well. I
Mm.
learned that myself by going into learning management systems and then coming back. So I have
Yeah.
the edtech and health tech experience, but planning to expand beyond that in coming years.
That is great, and it's awesome. Again, you're tying it back into you being able to leverage your network and your relationships within the industry to be able to expand into a multitude of different industries. And really, a question that I always like to ask as a follow-up to your goals are, hypothetically speaking, let's just say that, you and I could wave a magic wand and we could solve one thing that's maybe getting in the way of you really hitting that goal of expansion. Do you know maybe, like, what that one thing would be?
Um, I would explain it as a 5P framework.
Uh-huh.
So I just devised that framework, and I have a article on LinkedIn regarding that. It
Uh-huh.
is 5Ps. Precision,
Okay.
prediction, personalization, population, and prevention.
Okay.
Right? So we are in precision. We are precisely able to detect cancer from radiology reports and pathology reports and things like that. We want to have more prediction
Mm.
before even a disease happens. You want to predict that it could happen, and how can you prevent that from happening.
Mhm.
Personalization, understanding the genomics, understanding the biomarkers, and understanding everything about a person. I don't want to call patient, right? A
Mm.
person, and personalized treatment. So that's personalization. And then population health, how can you control a population? And it could be a region wise, it could be race wise, it could be anything, right? Kind of, for example, uh, um, uh, controlling diabetes in a very specific area in central Pennsylvania, for example, right?
Sure.
Because the healthcare system is also going from fee for service to fee for outcome, and then care management is coming up. So population health is going to be huge because hospitals are going to be incentivized for keeping the people healthy,
Nice.
rather than treatment. And the
Mm.
ultimate goal of prevention, right? If
Mhm.
you can get ahead and prevent things, then we don't need to do all these things. So prevention is the ultimate goal.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the 5P framework, and you mentioned that you wrote in an article about that on LinkedIn. So, if there's anybody that's watching this podcast and maybe they wanna connect with Niaz and really find out a little bit more about all the awesome stuff that you're working on, or maybe even explore what Pyramids has to offer outside of the website, would you say that LinkedIn is really the best social platform for those to go and connect?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best platform.
Awesome.
That's where everybody is today, right? So I post most of the things on LinkedIn, on the Pyramid site.
Nice, and I'll be sure to include links in the description of the video. I highly recommend that you guys do go check out Nias and all the awesome things that he's working on, but, really other than that, I wanted to tell you thank you so much again for your time really and also for your insights today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tyson.